Are you totally different when it comes to sex and copulation? Have you judged yourself out of receiving pleasure? Have you judged yourself into receiving pleasure in certain ways and excluded other ways? Would you like to know more about what else is possible with bodies? Would you like to create confidence in the bedroom and beyond? How has your sex life or lack of it affected other areas of your life? Everyone has the potency to be a sexual superhero. Get ready to listen, sense, and play with the sexualness that is you. Now, here's the host of The Pleasure Zone, pleasure diva and body whisperer, Milica Jelenic.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Pleasure Zone. It's another cheery Monday evening, and I'm in Toronto today. So every once in a while, I show up in the grand old city of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, to offer up my gifts to the world. And so this weekend I've been doing body work. Last weekend I was doing facilitating bars classes. So between body work, bars classes, and energy work, I've been keeping myself pretty busy. So I've been flying by the seat of my pants in so many ways, and so many areas of my life, and it's just showing up today too that I'm going to be flying by the seat of my pants on this show. So about 4 minutes ago, we came up with the title of the show tonight called "In Search of Inspiration." I certainly don't need to look for perspiration. I got lots of that happening. It's the random heatness, but maybe just the random heatness of my body is creating enough perspiration, but I'm looking definitely for some inspiration. And some of my ventures for inspiration have kind of like led me into different directions, not so different. They're all in the area of sex, copulation, bodies, and pleasure, which is what this show is all about. So if you are brand spanking new to this show, welcome. You are in for generally a pretty good treat. I hope I have a pretty good treat for you guys tonight. And there are so many shows in the archives. There are 145 shows in the archives, in fact. And this is number 146. I'm so excited for that because it's literally been 3 years of creating shows that have had, as much as the shows have had all different titles, yes, 146 different titles. There is an underlying theme about, in general, about all the shows, where on this program I look at, different topics where I may do research that could be historical, could be sociological, could be psychological. There are different studies that I'll look at, and then on top of that, because I get really inspired by studies. On top of that, there's always a component of looking at where we are using any of that to limit us and where we can start to begin to unlock that. And sometimes I say some things on this show, like I'll ask a bunch of questions, and then I'll say some crazy speak like this: right, wrong, good, bad, POC, pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And that crazy speak is actually called the Access Clearing Statement, which you can find on theclearingstatement.com. So if that comes up, that's what that is. And you never know, because none of this show is scripted. I do kind of follow an energy, follow a bit of a guideline called I'm Following the Energy. And sometimes I'll have a few accurate historical notes to refer to, like in such and such a year. Tonight, we've got none of that, guys. Tonight, we are going by following inspiration. And what inspires you? So for so many people, their relationships can start to begin to get kind of dull. And there's a saying that people get into the 7-year itch. And that 7-year itch is a lot of times for people where they have lack of inspiration, or they feel like a lack of inspiration from the body that they're, either their body or the body that is in front of them as their possible lover, right? So if you are in the kind of boat where you're going, yeah, I have no inspiration right now, sex is blah, my body feels blah. I've worked with a few people, and especially recently there's been kind of more people talking about things feeling kind of blah. People really searching for something very different. And that something very different is usually what we would call inspiration. That something very different is what kicks this energy into our being to excite us to choose to wake up, to choose to be alive, to choose to continue to go on every day. Inspiration. So asking for you, what inspires you? What what actually brings you a sense of pondering? Like, what gets you into the question? What gets you wondering? What gets you curious? Now, that's all the places where you will have inspiration. So if you have had like no inspiration, if you feel like you've had creative blocks, a lot of people talk about creative blocks, and if we look kind of at the energy systems of the body that people refer to as the chakras, in the chakras there are seven main. There are many other subcategories of chakras, but the seven main chakras, some people say there are 10, but we're going to go with the seven. One of them, the sacral chakra, actually has a lot to do with creativity. And that sacral chakra is also connected to not only our creative energy, it's also connected to the creative force. The belief is that is actually the energy that gets us to have like a drive to feel like copulating. So that and your root chakra, that drive for survival, those two together kind of get you really going. And where are they located? So that root chakra is you're actually around your perineum. If you don't know where that is, I'll just put it really frankly. It's like if you're a woman, your perineum is that part that tends to rip when you have the bebas. And for men, it's between your scrotum and your anus. That's your perineum. So women, between your vagina and your anus, that would be your perineum. So that's a little anatomy lesson for you. And a lot of teachings that I've read have actually said that is where your root chakra is, and your sacral chakra is more to do with your reproductive organs. So if you're feeling a lack of inspiration, and you're somebody who really likes playing with energy in different ways, you can ask your body, you can, check out, hey, is there something going on in my sacral area? Is there something going on in my reproductive system in general? And sometimes it is that, and sometimes it's even beyond that. Sometimes it's like we've lost our identity, so we don't have any inspiration. Who am I? What am I? And that, when it comes to like chakra speak, would be more of the next chakra up, your third chakra, which is really has to do with what people call like the I am center. This is and how we identify ourselves. It's our solar plexus. So it's something that people usually, a lot of people know where the solar plexus is, I think, because there used to be a crazy show, and I don't know if Americans got this, but in Canada we had this crazy show on in the morning, and it was like a comedy show on the radio, and the guy was always getting punched in the solar plexus. So from a very young age, I was aware of the solar plexus before I was aware of the energy of what a solar plexus was, or could identify or like say, oh, those two go together. Yes, where that guy gets punched is the solar plexus. But if you're not really sure who you are, the I am center, which also in terms of the body rules things like your digestive system, your stomach, your intestines. If you're not really sure who you are, sometimes those things get sluggish too. So that's just a point of view. That is just like, some points of views that I've read in books a long time ago when I was really into chakra work. And the funny thing is they're kind of coming back into my universe again. This week I was watching some random video that came up on Facebook, and it had to do with getting your digestion on track. And when your digestion isn't on track, what actually occurs in your body. And it was talking about how your libido can be lowered significantly, especially for women. For men as well, they can have erectile dysfunction. There can be a lot of different things that go on in a body when the internal organs are not functioning optimally. So it's not always what you think it is, right? So it's just because like you might not have a feeling of a sex drive, it might not actually be your sex organs that are feeling lame or tired or put out. It could be digestion. It could be your mind maybe being bogged down, overwhelmed. And we have in our brain, we have so many bits of our endocrine system, and also throughout our body, we have bits of our endocrine system. Our endocrine system is actually what functions to give us all the hormones of our body. We don't just have progesterone, estrogen, and although like the ones that we and testosterone, like those are not the only hormones. So when people are like, my hormones are out, I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about. There are like 700 hormones. They create so many things. They do so many things. And so, yes, chances are your hormones are out. So, we really are not, our bodies are not functioning optimally. So what can we do to actually create that so that we can have inspiration, so that we can have our bodies happier, joyful, energized, excited to wake up in the morning, instead of like the lethargy of like dragging yourself? What if every morning you woke up and you were like, wow, I'm alive. Wow, body. Thank you, body, for feeling so alive and fantastic. And I'm not asking you to do positive thinking right now. I'm not asking you to look at your life that may feel like a pile of crap where, maybe your body is literally like exhausted and feeling tired. And I'm not asking you to convince yourself that that's not true or real for you. I'm asking you to look at it, and I'm asking you to ask some questions about it. Question all of it. So question even what's going on with your body, if it's even yours. A lot of people, when you start to hang out with people, you can get really cute and you can start to mimic their bodies. We might get inspired by them, and then we take on their energy, which is adorable. It's another kind of influence of inspiration, is like if somebody inspires you, sometimes you will try and mimic them. Like, oh, that was great, I'm going to recreate that. So instead of recreating things, which we're amazing at and we do all the time and we recreate in our bodies, instead of doing that, what else can we do? So everywhere that you are mimicking and, using inspiration to create, using other people to inspire you to then create from them, but you're actually recreating something that's already been created and mimicking their work, their body, their life, their living, and their money inflows. How about if we change that now and we just destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And what if we start to ask some different questions? Like, if you see something that inspires you, like, wow, what a great idea that person had. I love that post. Instead of going, oh, wow, I'm going to put that, I'm going to do the same thing. Why don't you ask, what contribution can that energy be to me, to my body, to my money inflows, to my sexual energy flows, all of that? What if all those inspirations can actually contribute to your body, and you can receive in your body with all of these things that inspire you? If you're looking at a painting and then you're like, wow, instead of going and recreating the painting, like trying to go to recreate a Renoir, why not create your own painting? And what if you can receive from that which inspires you? So if that thing, whether it's an object or a person, saying, energy, if there's something that inspires you, what if you choose to receive more and more and more from it? For those of you who are totally new at this receiving thing, I get you. I'm there. I'm been aware of receiving for about 5 years now, and I'm still really on the learning curve of receiving. And one of the things that I'm really starting to get is more and more and more. And I'm aware of it, and I'm aware that I'm stepping more into it, is that receiving really has to do with being really, truly present and really, truly having no barriers. And we can say it a million times. It becomes an energy, something that you experience, and that's something that you go, that's receiving. And it doesn't have so many words to it as it is a way of being, which is completely different than doing. So you can't really do inspiration. You can be it for you. You can inspire others, and hopefully they don't, necessarily mimic you. Maybe they can outcreate what you're creating. Maybe they can create something completely different because they see that you're willing to create and be vulnerable and be interesting. Maybe that'll spark something in them to be creative, vulnerable, and interesting too. that isn't mimicking or copycatting, which, if somebody chooses to mimic and copycat, that's cool. And just ask for you if that's truly being inspired or if that's something else. This is, by the way, Inspired Choices Network, so it's kind of fun to be talking about inspiration here on the Pleasure Zone tonight, which is a topic that I haven't really touched on a lot before. So we're actually going to head to a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about being in search of inspiration here on the Pleasure Zone.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution, taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if you're far greater than you've ever given yourself credit for? What if it's time to know the gift and the contribution you are to the world and to like yourself a lot more? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. Asking questions opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not about finding the answer. It's about being the question. Always. What I'm inviting you to step into is something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Picasso, and Aristotle all knew to be true. What if no question is too big or too small? What if anything is possible for you? What if together we could create a kinder, gentler, happier world? Is now the time? Go to beingyouclass.com and sign up for a free video series, My Gift to You. beingyouclass.com. What if you, truly being you, are the gift and change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255. That's TALK. Or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight's topic is In Search of Inspiration. Definitely not perspiration. That's actually not the title. It's just In Search of Inspiration. So, for those of you, before we kind of dive back into this topic, I just wanted to let you guys know about a few upcoming really cool things that I was inspired to create, and one of them was called Barzapalooza. What is that? So for those of you who are familiar with the Access Consciousness bars, the bars is 32 points on your head that when you touch them, they start to release your limitations. It creates more ease in your body, your life, in so many ways, in so many different areas of your life. It's a really, really cool type of energy work, and basically it like defrags your system of your brain so that you can have like a clear, kind of a clearer slate to work from. It doesn't wipe out all your memories. It just allows you to have more freedom to not be stuck in, pathways, neural pathways that keep going the same direction. It actually opens up the space for you to have new neural connections to create something totally different with your life that is more free of limitations, continually more free of limitations. So Barzapalooza, August 26th in Milton, Ontario, which is really close to Toronto. It's about 30 minutes away from Toronto, just west, on a beautiful piece of land where we're going to have a swimming pool available. We're going to have a big fire, a potluck party. There's going to be dancing in the evening. There's going to be trades, bars trades, and during the day we're having a bars class with at least 3 bars facilitators. So myself, I'm one of them. My friend Darcel De Silva is another. And my friend Christine McIver, who is a certified facilitator with Access Consciousness as well as a bars facilitator, will also be joining us. So I'm really excited for this event. I'm like, what is it? Is it soon? Is it now? Is it now? So I'm very excited about that. And I'm constantly having classes up on the Access Consciousness website. So if you're looking to join a class with me, to be part of anything I'm creating, you can either find me on the Access Consciousness website. When you search facilitators, you can find me under Milica Jelenic. I'm the only Milica in there. That's Milica. Also, you can find me on my website, milicajelenic.com. So that's, and what else can I tell you about? Oh, yes. So I'm hosting, and I love bodies, so this is excellent and fun. I'm one of the co-hosts for a wonderful class coming to Toronto November 10th, 11th, and 12th with Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, and the class is called Advanced Body Class. So it's 3 days of scrumptious body work. For those of you who have ever done any Access body work, I know that you know how yummy it is. And for those of you who have been looking forward to going to an advanced class with Gary, how much fun can we have in Toronto? I'm so excited. There's so many fun things to do, and it's such a great season, November, to be in Toronto. There's always like beautiful sparkle lights going on. Christmas time, it gets really dolled up in the city. Generally we have snow by then, so it's quite pretty. So I'm hoping that we have quite a lot of people getting excited and choosing this. We've already started having quite a few people choosing this, so the more the merrier. Like, come and join us for some super fun, and I'm so excited about that. So the other part of what else I'm creating, so many things. I just realized that I got thrown onto many teams with many other things, and another one is we've got some friends on the station, Megan Solito and Susan Stauffer, who will be coming to Toronto in October, the weekend after Canadian Thanksgiving, which I have to look that up. I think it's October 16th, for a 2.5-day class on magic. Which is exciting and amazing, and it's such an amazing deal. Their class is $400 or something for the whole weekend. It's crazy amazing. So I'm very excited to be hosting them as well. There's so much going on around the world, and so much going on even right in my own neighborhood. And so if you're feeling like a lack of inspiration, start looking around, because there's so many things you can find that may get your body excited, may get it going. And it's not always what you think it is, Like I was saying before break, it's not always that, maybe your genitals are the things that aren't functioning. That might not be it. It might actually be that maybe your digestive system is off, maybe your endocrine system isn't quite on par. So how do you get your body to function fully? So first of all, having communication with your body is a really sweet gift. You don't have to be gifted as a body whisperer, because guess what? We're all born body whisperers. I just like the title, so I use it. It's that somewhere along the way, we stopped listening to the whisper, and we started looking for and thinking that our bodies had to scream at us, so we stopped listening to the whisper. But innately, we're all body whisperers. We all had awareness from day one. So now it's a matter of getting back to that language for us that is so familiar, called energy, which is our very first language, getting back to that and really having intimate conversations and communication with our bodies. How do we get them to function better? First of all, what if we don't judge them as lacking function? So sometimes they aren't functioning so great, but you may have assumed, presumed, projected, oh, my body's a mess. And you haven't really checked in with your body, body, do you require anything? And if your body is oh, yeah, my God, I need some help. Oh, my God, yeah. So if your body is in the mode of oh, thank God you're finally talking to me. Yes, I could use some assistance here. Doesn't mean you're totally messed up. It just means your body is finally getting to hear you ask it some questions, and it's ready to communicate. So I'd say number one, for getting your body back on track so that you can feel like you have optimal health. That doesn't mean that either you don't have it now, but it's really so that you have a sense in your body and with your body that you're functioning optimally, which is different than, for example, judging it as not functioning. But you can sometimes have an awareness like it can be better than this. Or what can I do, be, or have, or choose that would actually create that? So sometimes there is an awareness, like you just know that something can be improved. Your body could have more energy, more fun, more joy, more ease, and start asking it. That is really, really key. And then if you really want to get kind of technical, because some of you are, some of you are thinkers of magnitude. Your brains are on overdrive, constantly wanting to know more, question things, but you're actually questioning things that are driving you crazy rather than questioning in a way that creates. So head trippers of magnitude out there. For those of you who are wondering, what do I do? How do I know what to do? Really, one of the things is like if you start looking around different things. So, for example, you could walk into a health food store, grocery store, McDonald's, walk into anywhere where, clothing stores, so many things where your body is going to be communicating with you either about the clothes, the food, the people, and start to get where your body gets really excited and happy. So if you're walking by McDonald's and your tongue is kind of going, yeah, I really, really need to have these, McDonald's fries with salt. Oh, yeah, that's what my body, body. And your body is, your tongue is talking to you, and the rest of your body is like pulling you in another direction. I'm asking you to listen to your whole body. Our tongues are kind of cute. They're kind of like these, almost like entities unto themselves, and they have a totally different. They tend to have a different experience with food than the rest of our body does. Our tongues they have so many taste buds on them that when something gets in there, it's like an explosion of life. And you stick something in your mouth and it's got the explosion of life. It's kind of orgasmic, right? Especially if it's tasty. It's like chocolate cake goes in your mouth. Explosion of life is going on. Your tongue is all excited. Your body is like, wait. And this is where we kind of disconnect from our tongue to our tummies, and we don't listen. So if we were truly listening to our bodies and willing to be inspired by everything around us, we might not just like assume that we have to swallow it. We might get really inspired, and we might do something like stick the cake on our forehead and go, okay, cool, body. Would that be fun? Or you can ask your body, because your body isn't always asking for the food to be digested. Sometimes it's asking to be worn, to be soaked in, to be licked, to be sniffed, touched, even like. So we have so many senses, and our tongues are getting like, our tongues are almost being bombarded by constantly shoving things in there. So it's like more. Now I need more stimulation. Now I need more stimulation. Now I need more stimulation. Give me more flavors. Give me more flavors, which is great and fun. And at the same time, it's like we are also assuming we have to swallow. So this is just a hint. You don't always have to swallow, kids. Sometimes it's fun. Don't always have to do it. All right. That's for so many things, by the way. And so if your body is having like an orgasmic experience with scents, flavors, just remember, don't have to swallow. And what if you could be inspired by food, making it, looking at it, smelling it, tasting it? What if you didn't have to have a point of view that it has to go into your belly, that it has to be digested, that it has to be metabolized? It doesn't always. Our bodies don't require probably 1/3 of the food we're consuming. When you're born, your stomach is about the size of a pea, and so and it's funny because I remember nursing my daughter when she was a baby, and was like worried that she was going to starve, and then I got a reality check when I looked at anatomy of a 4-week-old, and that her stomach was like no bigger than a pretty much a lima bean at that time. And I was worried she was starving. Well, that belly was full, that body was growing, so she probably could have used a little like squirt of milk every 10 minutes, which is pretty much what she did. I was definitely told that my feeding methods were wrong because, nurse for this long, nurse for that long, switch boobs, do that. So we're told from a very young age exactly the correct way of eating and how much to eat and how much poop and pee is supposed to come out. But never at any point are we actually trained to work with our bodies to see what they actually like, what inspires them, what has them like wake up with excitement and joy. So, the baby might wake up with excitement and joy, have a little food, and then it's done, but it doesn't need that full-on bottle. And that's just something to play with. I'm not saying starve your child. I'm asking you to be aware of their body and ask their body questions and ask your body questions so that you can have more of a fun time with your body and with food. And I'm saying all of this because the whole inspiration for me has really come from curiosity about my body changing a lot. So, and I've just been curious about like, body, so what are you creating this for? What is this? Do you enjoy this, right? So we'll talk a little bit more about what my body's been creating when we come back from break, and a few things that I've been reading that have inspired me to choose a few other little different new points of view to adopt and utilize in my life, some tools. So we will do that when we come back from this commercial break.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution, taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255. That's TALK. Or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight's topic is that we are in search of inspiration. So there's been a few things inspiring me lately, and some of them are some videos I found online really talking about how our bodies, like the correlation between our bodies, and sex drive, how the sex drive is influenced by different organs. Also, energetic influences that I am aware of from my past, that I used to do a lot of different classes, and I took some pretty in-depth classes on chakras at one point in my life, and learned quite a lot about them. So just from different perspectives, what's going on with our bodies when we are lacking inspiration or feeling like kind of drab, whether that's in our sex life, whether that's in our regular life. If you're somebody who has a business that requires you to be creative, and you find that you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and you're feeling like, oh my God, I lack inspiration. Like, what? Oh my God, what can I do? If you're feeling like a super strong lack of inspiration, start asking, like, what is it? What can I do with it? Can it change? What can I do to change it? So for me, some of that was looking at different and new things. And so I'd been gifted a book months and months ago by a dear friend of mine named Pussy, The Reclamation. Yes, the book is actually called Pussy, in big, bold letters on the front page, so that anybody who sees you reading it knows that you're reading about pussies, because you can't miss it. So in the book, it was actually, I just started reading it again. I'd read a few pages, and I kind of got back into it because I was curious, especially looking at like topics for upcoming shows. And there was a few things in there that I remembered that I knew from a past that I just wasn't incorporating in my life anymore. And I thought, okay, would that be fun? And that actually created a bit of an inspiration for my body. So one of the exercises in Pussy, a reclamation, is that she gets you to really look at your body. And one of them is that she gets you to look at your body from behind, from the side, from different angles. And I thought that was a pretty fun and interesting thing. And she also talked about the power of, she didn't like the word yoni because she says it's Sanskrit and she can't relate to it. And vulva seems like a car, like a Volvo, which was funny because I was talking to my daughter who's 9 about vaginas and vulvas and stuff, because she was asking some questions about menstruation and when is she going to get her period, when is she going to hit puberty, and I was explaining certain things that would go on. And she was like, well, what's your vulva? Sounds like a car. I'm like, your vulva is not a car. It's your whole package, darling. It's like, it's your vagina, it's your labia, it's your labia minora, your labia majora. But a lot of people refer to the vulva as the vagina. The vagina is not that. The vagina is the muscle inside. So I always laugh when people are like, that's a nice vagina. I'm like, you can't see her vagina unless you've like stuck something in there, opened it up, and you're a gynecologist and you're examining it. Chances are you're not looking inside of a vagina. Okay, just it annoys me. That's not the vagina. You're admiring a vulva. Okay, that's what you're admiring, the vulva. It's art. And I'm sure the vagina is too. I just haven't like dived inside one and opened it up and kept it open to like examine. So go for it if you feel like it, and your partner's all for having their vagina explored. Cool, and vulva. So this book was inspiring me because I was like remembering that yes, actually there's some fundamental things that people aren't aware of, and certain things about bodies that are just, to me, they're fundamental. They're pragmatic, and they're just so part of my daily life that I forget that other people don't know them. For example, like with the digestion and with the endocrine system, and certain things that will actually knock your system out of whack, and what we can do that can be really simple things like communication with the body. Sometimes the body will actually indicate to you that it requires something like something different to eat that you haven't been eating. Maybe it requires supplements. Maybe your body is begging and asking you for probiotics or digestive enzymes, and you're just like, yeah, I don't think so. But if your body's asking for them, check it out. There's a lot of bonus to that. Our bodies have actually started to not function optimally because we're not actually eating the food that had a lot of life in it, that used to have a lot of life in it. So what can we do to change that? If you're you're a master of energy, if you have any energy tools under your belt whatsoever, you can dynamically change the quality of your food by playing with different energy processes and by asking it to change. So how much could we contribute to the planet by asking our food to be optimally digestible, metabolizing with ease for our body, so that our bodies can receive all the nutrients that they require from our food. So our bodies don't get satiated until they actually get the nutrients that they require. So if you sometimes feel like you're really, really hungry and you just can't seem to get full, no matter what you eat, and sometimes you just feel over bloated. It's like you've shoved so much food in your body, and at the same time you feel hungry because you're not actually having the nutrients that your body would like to have. And when your body is functioning optimally, you'd be amazed and surprised at how much more inspiration you have, how much more sex drive you have. Your body just feels like awesome. So, it's strutting around, pulling energy, looking for, fabulous sex. Your body will start to demand it, whether you're cognitive of what it's doing or not. So I dare all of you to go and start asking your bodies to receive more nutrients from the food, to actually ask the food to have the nutrients that your body requires. And if that seems so really far-fetched to you, go with some really simple, old school things like looking up the foods that your body may be lacking, ones that will actually create more, ones that will kick in your digestive enzymes. So there are different things to take for that, and there are hormones in the body that get released in order for your body to both feel satiated and for your body to feel hunger and for your body to do all those things like metabolize and all of that. All of that's part of your endocrine system. So I'm on a anatomy talk tonight or something, which can be fun. It's fun for me. I love anatomy. I love bodies. It's not just that I love touching them, feeling them up, but I'm intrigued by the way that bodies actually work, the mechanics behind bodies, what's connected to this and that. So a lot of my inspiration has lately been coming from watching things about from doctors, from scientists, people who have done research on things, and I'm just curious about their point of view. Again, I don't always buy their point of view. What I do is I listen to the information and I ask, does that work for me? Is it, and sometimes I'll know, my body will get really excited. My body got really excited watching something the other day that was about probiotics. And I was like, my body was so excited about probiotics. I passed the information on to another friend of mine who he just loves probiotics. It's like his shtick in life. He's a probiotic king. And so I those things inspire me when I'm like, I know this person who will love this video. So I've seen a lot of those lately too, things that I'm aware that will inspire other people to step up their game, to invite them into something. So sometimes you'll find things that kind of inspire you, and then when you pass them on, you find out that you've actually inspired a whole slew of people. So yeah, I encourage you to do that if you are curious about bodies and bodies inspire you. Learning about them can be a lot of fun. Whether you're finding online stuff, YouTube has amazing videos. YouTube has amazing videos for everything. You can learn so much from the most random videos on there. Some of them, actually 3 years ago when I started this show, my second show was with this organization called OneTaste. .us, and they do something called orgasmic meditation. Oming is what they call it. And so they were my second guest, I think, second or third guest on my show, my second or third episode that I ever had. And their work inspires me because they're so out of the box in the way that they operate. And so it's that kind of out of the box thinking. It's also people who are highly knowledgeable. That inspires me too. People who have really done a lot of research, got a lot of information, done case studies. I love case studies, even though I don't always agree with their outcomes or their information. I just have admiration for anybody who is willing to put in the hours and the work to study certain phenomenon, and whether it's in bodies, reactions of medicines, whatever. I'm fascinated by people who have like this thing that just excites their universe enough that they're willing to invest time and energy into getting this information, whether you agree with the information or not. So it's a lot of fun to me. So, all right, well, we are coming up to the next break. So we're going to head off to this next commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up this show on In Search of Inspiration here on the Pleasure Zone.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution, taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions, or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255. That's TALK. Or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and today's topic is In Search of Inspiration. Whenever you're in search of anything, it's usually an item or a person or, inspiration is one of those kind of vague anomalies. How do we find this thing called inspiration? And so I really encourage you to become friends with the energy that is inspiration so that you can call it up, literally like a friend, and go, hey, inspiration, where are you? Have you been hiding? Have I been hiding from you? Have I been hiding from my own inspiration? Because sometimes we do that. There's these energies around us that are exploding, exciting, and interesting, and we're like hiding from them. Yet if we stepped into it and we were like, hey, inspiration, oh, there you are, then it would start to show up. I can use today's show as an example. It's like I literally started with no topic, and as I step into what is inspiration, what inspires me, it's like when you lean into something and you become friends with it and you can speak with it and have communication with it like a friend, then you start to begin to get more information about it, about you, about how you are with it. So how am I with inspiration is an interesting question that I just, kind of jumped up. And so one of the things for me is when I go looking for inspiration, for me, it's usually something that's very different than anything I've ever chosen before. Like I was talking about the one taste orgasmic meditation people, that's something that I haven't gone to a class for, so that for me is very inspiring. It's different. Inspiration doesn't always have to be that far out of your comfort zone or far out of your reality or far away from anything you've chosen. Inspiration can sometimes be somebody's smile. You know, you could be walking down the street one day and just having one of those days where your head's down, you're kind of drooping around, and you just happen to look up and somebody busts out this beautiful, beautiful smile. And it inspires you to smile back, which inspires others to start smiling, which actually starts to change the world. So you choosing to be an inspiration and choosing to receive inspiration will actually, have this ripple effect that can be incredibly beautiful, that can gift to so many people. And that kind of effect that creates that joy and ease also ramps up the sexual energy, guys. Like, if you're feeling kind of low, low energy, below the belt, and you're kind of like, oh my God, like, I don't know how to get my sex drive going again. And I've had a lot of people say that. Like, I worked with a woman last week who was saying she hadn't had sex in like 20 years or something, and she was like, and I don't even care. I don't even feel it, and I don't even feel my body. I don't feel anything. Like, she just had no desire to even be connected. So we did talk a lot about that and did some facilitation around that when she actually began to become aware that she was actually really aware of, in the past, all the people she had chosen, there wasn't a lot of kindness towards her body. It was a lot of it was her utilizing her body to facilitate other people to have more ease, which wasn't fun for her. So she wasn't choosing sex anymore because it was really freaking tough on her body and not fun. And she just didn't know, and she didn't have the tools. So as she left, she was feeling a little more sprightly and a little more energized, a little more willing to explore the possibility of receiving energy. And we started off with her receiving energy from trees and animals that have no point of view. And really, if you're feeling like low sex drive, I encourage you to do the same. Start to receive energy from the trees. What does that look like? So it might be for you, going up to a tree, leaning against it, singing it, and like when you breathe, like getting the awareness in your body that you're like breathing in the energy of the tree. So it's like breath in, and you're like pulling and bringing in the energy of the roots of the tree, the leaves, all the other trees around it, and then that can be a really great way to start to receive. And then you'll notice that energy of a tree is very different than the energy of a person. People carry a lot of limitations and points of view and judgments around, and so that tree will definitely have a different sensation than people. And so when you are looking to have inspiration, sometimes coming from no point of view too, and like getting back into nature and receiving from nature, for her that was her greatest inspiration, was to choose to start to receive from nature and allow that to expand to see what else is possible beyond that. For people who are already receiving from nature and from people, and they're feeling like a little low and still low energy below the belt, I encourage you to play around and get curious about all the things that you are feeling shy about asking for, awkward about asking for. We did a episode a year or two ago with Melanie Clampett called The Big Ask. It was a great conversation about really being willing to be vulnerable enough to ask for whatever you desire in your relationship, and in your own life, just willing to be vulnerable enough to ask. So I want to thank all of you guys for listening to this show tonight, being willing to be curious, being willing to look at inspiration for your body, what you can choose with your body, so many different ways. So thank you so much, and I look forward to having you guys live with me next week here on The Pleasure Zone. Have a fabulous, fabulous evening, and check out my website at milicajelenic.com. Have a great night.
Thank you for choosing to listen to The Pleasure Zone. Milica Jelenic will return next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by choosing to be turned on and tuned in to your body.